Hello and welcome to this week's City Skylines tutorial series. Today I was asked to make a video about different interstate interchanges and intersections within modless City Skylines. So in order for us to get this accomplished, I'm gonna load up a city that we've built before. That way we have a nice little area maybe off to the side since we have everything unlocked. And we're just gonna build some examples of different things to give you an idea of how I approach interchanges, and then you can take that and do with it whatever you want. So here's a nice city right here. This is the island hopping scenario. This is one that we kind of completed. We ended up draining the ocean, and we'll use some of the area off to the side to build some different interchanges to show you guys some different varieties that I enjoy. And then you can take those and tweak them to yourselves, or you can find some more on the internet. This is merely just a guide to set you in the right direction. The biggest thing about interstate intersections for people who play cities, the traffic in this game is not the best simulation in the world. So the cars always travel the path of least resistance to get to a location that they want to arrive to. And when you have an interstate, a lot of people like to invoke lane mathematics in order to get their cars to work in a specific way, and that usually ends up doing bad because all the cars end up staying in one lane and not using all of the 4 lanes or all of the 6 lanes, etc. I'm just going to show you a couple of quick things. We're probably going to use some of the existing interstates here and or just build them off to the side to show you some examples of what we're talking about. For example, this will be a traffic lesson also. These cars are coming from this part of the island to this part of the island, and this is the only way in and out of there. One thing I would recommend, if someone says, hey, I'm having a hard time with traffic backing up, here's what it looks like. First thing I would tell you is I would change what you have going on here by adding more redundancy to your city. What does that mean? What that simply means is we're gonna take the roads and connect them here, either above or below the interstate, in a way to bring cars over from this side to that side. And once they see that it's a quicker line of travel, they'll start using that instead, or in addition to, it'll fix the traffic overall. Now, one of the things you have to remember about City Skylines and the way it works is, as soon as a car spawns in at the end of the map in the back, it already has a predestined travel path. It's going to travel down the way that it's meant to travel around. For some reason, we're missing an interstate there. Oh, we had an earthquake. But it's going to travel the predestined path that it was originally assigned. If you change a road, it's going to travel till it can't travel anymore and despawn, or it'll travel past that point and find a way back to where it needed to get to. Nothing's going to take the new changes that you make until the new car spawns in the back and uses that new area as its path. So if you make an immediate change to your traffic area, you're not going to notice them using it for a little bit. A lot of people lose patience and they want to see a solution instantaneously, and that's not how City works, unfortunately. So we're going to use this as an example. This will also get us about interchanges with the interstate. This interstate's a little weird. We built this city weird. We ended up draining an ocean. This is the archipelago map. It looks familiar. This is where you first start. These are the little islands that you hop over to this one. Here's the crescent-shaped island that you get to later. And we've pretty much ran water pumps through here and drained the whole thing. I'm gonna build a few roads while the game is paused, and we're gonna try to get the redundancy to work in our favor. We're just gonna do something really quick. It's not gonna be too fancy looking, but it's gonna be enough to probably convey a message to you guys about how I approach things, and that'll actually help us get into the interchanges I'm gonna show you as well. So these roads aren't going to look very glamorous, but they're going to be enough for the cars to use and get around. I would never officially build my road this way. We're just having to go under one interstate and above the other. And any opportunity that we get to do that without too much of a penalty. Oh, there's a police station there, fire station. We'll move that over. That's why we couldn't build. I was going to say it should have worked in theory. We can do this, curl around, hook up there. So if we're building these redundant places, not only will services be able to service them better, but they'll also be able to travel to and from the different buildings that they're going to get to. Is this a cost of losing a house or a building in the process? Of course, you're gonna have to do that. There is a thing called eminent domain in the US where they have a right to take stuff of yours, but they compensate you in return, or they have an opportunity to do that. We're gonna let the game run while that is gonna fix itself, and we'll come back to it later. I'm gonna build an interstate. I'm gonna show you guys some different interchanges. So let's say we had an interstate that looked like this way and that way. It's on the ground, it's flat, and you have your city being built over here. You have some city streets, you got a nice little area here, maybe a pocket of commercial, and then you have like a beautiful circle over here that complements the rest of the build. And you want an interchange that can come in and out of here and be effective. There's two rules you need to know about an interstate. A, you want to take the speed of the interstate into consideration. One thing you don't want to do that some people sometimes fall victim for, and it ends up biting them later, is they'll make an off-ramp. They'll make an off-ramp here. Let me think of what I'm trying to say, because it makes sense when I'm trying to say it. Okay. What they do is they put an on-ramp here, an off-ramp here. Now, that normally isn't a bad thing from just looking at it, but if you understand City Skylines, it's a horrible thing, because what ends up happening is the traffic ends up coming down this road, taking this exit, getting on the interstate, getting off of the exit just to get over here. They don't use this road anymore because this has a higher speed. So you don't want to do anything like that where you're going on and off on the same road. What you want to do to fix that is you want to get off and then come back on. So that way cars that want to go from here to there on the interstate continue traveling the interstate because it's the path of least resistance, and people who come off of here actually come off here to be here and not use these roads as a shortcut to gain speed to get back on the other way. I hope that makes sense and looks good. Well, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and build our first interchange that I talk about. If we're on flat land and you don't want to raise the ground up, what I normally do is I'll pop a curve around like this, and I call these like ears. These are ears of the interstate, and it allows a very good on and off for your traffic in your city, but it also makes a nice clean presentation on your map, and it doesn't leave anything horrible looking there. You can also make this a lot tighter if you wanted to. We can delete these and I'll draw a tighter one. The reason why I like to use them as wide as this, because I want to terminate them at intersections. Terminating your on-off ramps at intersections are very important. If you make another straight connection, like right here, for example, you now have 3 stopping points for cars, and that causes backups in traffic, whether it be here, whether it be over here for cars trying to turn around, or however you think that would work its way out. Having intersections far apart is better for lane travel because cars get up to speed faster and more efficiently. We can shrink this down to 1 lane, so we can use this to get off here, and we can use it to get on here, and we can make it even tighter. So what we'll do is we'll follow the same one here as before. The freeform tool during all this is your friend, and you can make it as high or as low as you want. So that's going to get on. So these two get on this location, and then this one's going to get off at both. And we have to come around. Sometimes it's hard at this angle to make it come around exactly how you would want it to. But it would look like this. It's a little lumpy, but as you practice with it, you'll get better at it. You can even go tighter than that if your neighborhood was that tight. But I wouldn't recommend going too close together, because then you'll have just a huge traffic problem of cars there. The next thing we'll show you is I'll show you an elevated interstate interchange, because I really believe that the elevated interstate interchange that I've created is probably the best for most applications, because it kind of handles traffic in a carousel manner. So let's go up here and let's make it like 10 high. I don't like to make it this high normally, but just for all intents and purposes, we will. And I don't like suspension bridges. Suspension bridges are very, very difficult to make ramps onto because they don't build around the suspension cables themselves. I wish it had a way in the game to make it not that way and still have it straight, but unfortunately you got to give it a slight curve for it to go away. And that's a tip for you in the future if you ever wanted to learn that as well. If you want to build an interstate but you don't want the suspension, you have to curve it just a little bit. Sometimes you can do long spans and end up straightening it out just a bit and having it without that. But you just gotta play with it and see which method works for you. So here, these are a little high, but I can still get the message across. What I do here is I like to build a one-way road underneath it that kind of mirrors exactly what we're building. So I'll grab a road, put it on the ground, and it'll be a block. So we'll keep it tight to the road. We'll go straight here. We want to avoid the pillars, and we do this. Now, what this allows us to do is it allows us to take the interstate exits, come off. Let me go a little further on these real fast. That way we have some room for me to explain how this works. Now these require a lot more space, but I think they're really good. There's two different ways you can build this. You can go like this route here, and makes it look like this. And what this does is it's kind of similar to the other method, but this allows you to lane into other neighborhoods. So what I would tell you to do is try to minimize your intersections as much as possible. And if you're building a straight road, just apply this to it. So let's say you hit a boulevard here. I would try to get your blocks to either start here or right on as close as possible. That way you can have your roads flow as well. This is a larger interchange overall, and I have the one-way roads complement. So if this road's coming down, this one-way road's going to come down. If this road's going up, that one's going to go up. And this not only gives a through from one side of the map to the other underneath the interstate, but it also gives an interchange for people to get on and off as well. And it creates a roundabout that breaks up traffic. So if I come from here and I want to get on the interstate going that way, I have to go this way and around to get on. If I get off and I want to go here, I have to get off and turn and go this way, or get off and go all the way around to get off and go this way. So it forces the traffic to break it up. It's really, really tight once you get to know it and build it faster. And this is version 1. The other version that I build of this is the same philosophy, but we move the ramps. The ramps go from there to here, and this makes it a little tighter, but there's a reason I do it. So what I'll do is I'll come off here. Let's see if I can pull it off with this high interstate. And I like to try to cut myself off right there. And then normally not on the same node, but I like to come across and get on there. And this is usually spaced out a little better. If you ever see some of my other city builds, you'll understand where I'm coming from with that. But it looks similar to this, and it allows you to kind of fit the city into the interchange into a tighter spot. This is too steep. We're way too high. Usually I put the interstate about 9 high or 8 high. Right now it's about 10 to 11, which is normally not where I would want to be. There we go. So that looks a little tighter. It puts the traffic in a different predicament. It does the tighter intersections. Like I said before, you don't want too many stops, but the traffic coming in and out of here is going to be flowing faster than everything else. So that's another different interchange that you can use as well. Real quick, let me go and look at where we built the redundancy at and see how it's going. So we got a traffic back up here, but we no longer have the traffic getting off here to go over there. So we fixed that issue, but now it looks like all the cars are getting off over here to turn around and get this way. Now that doesn't make any sense at all. Why would they want to do that? So then what we can do, why are they doing that? They're coming off this interstate to go up and go around. So this interstate here does not have any way to get to this part of the island. I'll visualize it so you guys can see. This interstate had the problem originally. They were coming off of here, going to this part and backing up. We built the redundancy, it fixed that. Now we have this interstate coming off of here, going down, getting off of here, and then turning around to get on the island. That's their quickest path of travel to get there. How we can solve that is we can have this interstate here kind of utilize some of the exits that already exist or make their own. So if we build an exit off ramp, let's do this just for fun. We'll build one there. I'll build one over here if it'll let me. It won't let me, it's too high or too low. I'll build one there and I'll build one here. And let's see what that does for our traffic. We'll let that run for a little bit as we go over some other interchanges. The first two that I just showed you are probably my favorite. We're gonna clean up the slate here and we're gonna draw another one. Another one that I enjoy making is kind of a favorite of mine. It doesn't make the most ideal traffic, but you can build it pretty quickly. You want to go with a large roundabout and bring it off the ground. I would say 4 or 5 clicks maybe, and have it sit there like this. Take these roads here away, and then when you run the interstate down through here, if it's elevated, which I hope you do. So I'm gonna go 6 high on the interstate. We're gonna go straight road tool. This interstate's gonna go straight through there. This interstate's gonna go straight through here. That roundabout might be a little too high, but I'll still build it to show you what I'm talking about. It pretty much follows the same principle as what we did earlier, but this allows kind of a more carousel method. So we can, wait, I built these backwards. I think I've been building these backwards the whole time. Usually that's how the interstate looks, right? If I look at it from here, it's up and down. Let me double check. Yep, up and down. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to utilize your roads here, and I would grab them from here and make interstate exits that kind of hit this in specific spots. That way your cars can get on and off and they cycle through. And that's another interchange that you can use. Pretend this round is a little lower. I can't lower it with move it because I don't have any mods. And then from there you can have your regular traffic. You wanna have like a 6-lane road or something come off from this and go down into your city. It maybe preferably not like that, but you can have that come down, and then you can have your city blocks built here and have your people driving around. This would normally be a lot lower, like I said. If you have the interstate on the ground, it does a good job as well. We'll build here, and we'll do this one there. Go to the roundabout, grab the big one. Probably have to, it's not gonna let me do it because of the columns. Let me build that first. Some of this stuff requires a little pre-planning. So this is the ground. I'm gonna go 2 up because I think this is using the large step for your elevation changes. And then we're gonna put the interstate underneath it. Straight road. We'll go up and then down. And this you can probably visualize a little better. Oh, I just turned this backwards. My brain's a little backwards today. I apologize for that. Grab these, and then this will come down into there. This will go up. And you can use these nodes to kind of help you lock into it a little better. And you can make them symmetrical on either side. And that gives you an interchange there that your roads can feed off of finally. And then you can take your 6-lane, and it's not that sharp of a drop this time. And then your city can run off of that. This is a favorite of mine. It's space intensive though. It takes up a lot of room. You can use this space in here to place water towers if you need to kind of get your city some more water. If you're playing with disasters and you want to use your disaster response, you can use it to put a tower right here in the middle maybe, or an earthquake sensor. That way you can get coverage on your city without having to worry about too much. And that works there. The other intersections that people use and utilize are like your diverging diamond, and some people build custom ones that kind of loop through each other and circle around. I'm not a big fan of those. Some of those can be used on a case-by-case basis, of course, in your city and how you build it. But the main thing you want to remember is you want to leave your intersections wide, far apart, and you want to have a constant flow of traffic, because if you make them stop for any reason, you're going to have a hard time. Let's go back over here and double check what we've done now, see how we've cleared it up. So they're not really turning around there anymore. It's still a little bit backed up. They're using this to get over here, and they're using this exit to get over here now. So there is traffic being put there, but if you notice, it's not as backed up as it was before. When you realize interchange efficiency that follows along with redundancy, you have a better time in making your traffic work and flow better. This can be solved by adding some more roads, some more redundancy like we talked about earlier, but it seems like we've cleared up the first 2 traffic issues, and we can only just improve from there. So that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed the interchanges that I showed you. There's only a few. If you have any questions or comments, let me know. If you have any suggestions for future videos, let me know. And we can do something like this if you want. It's gonna be a really long video, but we can drain this ocean, and I can show you how we did it. It's actually really fun. We did it without mods, which is why the roads look like crap. And it was hilarious the entire time. So guys, thank you for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. If you want to catch my Twitch stream, you can find the information below in the information. And I'll see you guys for next week's video. Take care of yourselves. Have a good night, and I'll see you around. Goodbye.